Hello, curious nerds. I'm Wesley, and for my next idea, I'm going to be upgrading these old things, a very simple tool that has proven to be among the most useful in my workshop. I knew this sled would come in handy again. So this is an apple box. Well, it's going to be an apple box. I made about a half dozen of these guys 20-something years ago, back before I really had any idea what I was doing, back when I still had potential. And well, they've gotten pretty grungy, and the mice have been sharpening their teeth on them. So I thought I'd redo these, make some improvements, and show you guys a couple of ways you can make some of your own. Now these holes here in the ends, these are clearly handles, and you can see there's one in the middle here, but it doesn't really serve any other purpose than to cut down on a little weight. Put a muffler on that glue. And that is basically it. We are going to get a little more interesting with these though, so hold tight. But what are these for? Well, photographers use these extensively for posing subjects, propping up equipment. You'll see them all over movie sets, but I use these all the time in the workshop for working on stuff that's just a little too high, a makeshift stool when I need to work low, holding up awkward projects to weld or paint, propping up stuff for assembly, keeping tools within reach. You can make an impromptu workstation when working on site somewhere. I use them to elevate things when I'm shooting these videos. I used one at Jimmy's when I was working on that giant sign just to climb up and down on his welding table 1,000 times. Basically, they are just really versatile platforms. It's something you may not think to have around, but when you've got them, you reach for them all the time. One size, however, does not necessarily fit all, so we're going to make a few more of these. By the way, what you see here in this shop, I actually do for a living. I work for myself. I make content, I do commissions for clients, and if you've ever run your own business, you know it can be incredibly stressful. If you followed me for any length of time, you probably know that I'm fairly open about my anxiety issues, a lot of which come from this work. But it's important for anybody dealing with these or any other mental health issues to take them seriously, which is why I have partnered with BetterHelp as sponsor of this video. Sometimes just talking things out with someone can help you deal with whatever issues you're facing, but a lot of people can feel intimidated by the prospect of just finding a professional who can help. BetterHelp makes it easy by offering a questionnaire that you can fill out online, then matching you with one of over 30,000 therapists based on your needs and preferences. Once matched, you can book sessions that are convenient for your schedule. Plus, you can hold your therapy sessions as a phone call, as a video chat, or by typing them out through messaging, something I find important, being able to communicate in a way that's comfortable for you. Join over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp to lead a healthier, happier life. Follow the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/WesleyTreat to get 10% off your first month. So the one I made before is actually a half-size apple box at 4 inches tall. This one is a quarter size at 2 inches tall. Now, this does not traditionally have a handle in the face here, but I thought I'd cut one and see how I like it. Also, these finger holes in the end, the purpose of which will become evident momentarily, I ran a round over on the inside of these already, but because this piece is so narrow, it was a little too fragile to run it on the outside also until I got the whole thing together. And then there's the 1/8 apple box, which is otherwise known as a pancake, which is only 1 inch tall. It's composed of just 2 sheets of 1/2 inch. And rather than trying to line these up perfectly, I'm just going to offset this corner by 1/8 of an inch and use these as reference edges when I trim it down to size. And I can do this to keep it from slipping, but I swear, no matter how hard I try, even if I do that, after I clamp them, somehow it has shifted anyway. And after the glue is dried and I've removed all the clamps, I use this reference edge I mentioned and trim off the excess. Then I flip it around and cut it to size. Then I do the same thing with the short end. That way I get nice flush edges and I don't have to worry about lining up 2 pieces perfectly. Then I just cut a handle. You don't need a robot for that, by the way. You can just drill 2 holes and connect them with a jigsaw. And then finish it off with a nice round over. Again, you would traditionally not have a handle cut all the way through it like this. What's usually done is they'll just route a groove along each end here so you've got a place to pick it up with your fingers. But I want to be able to pick it up with one hand and carry it. So I'm a rule breaker. But we still need the full size, but we're going to do something a little bit different for the full size. And I've already cut out all the pieces for it. Everything I'm making here today, by the way, I will have plans for, if you want to build your own, link down in the description. Got to make sure I get these right because, as you can see, there's grooves cut in here that stop short at one end. Yeah, this one goes on top. Where's my bastard hammer? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so this is the front. I just need to cut it to fit into these grooves. And perfect on the first try. And I added a couple of recessed magnets here to help keep it shut. Also, if you noticed my Band-Aid earlier, which has since fallen off, I injured myself cleaning my coffee maker this morning. That's right. I forgot there was a little pokey thing in there that punctures the coffee pod, and it punctured me instead. But hey, always look on the bright side. Now, I cut everything else out of 1/2 inch, but I used 3/4 for this to accommodate this tongue and groove. But I think if I had to do it over again, I'd probably just use 2 sheets of 1/2 inch cut to different widths. That way I can get everything out of one sheet. And I think this would have been easier to cut too. And let me preface this next part by saying, I do not claim to have invented this. You can buy these from a few different companies, actually, if you just hate making stuff. But these other boxes are just a little bit smaller than the industry standard footprint of 20 by 12. That way, you can do this. Which is great if you've got limited space in your workshop, or you want to take a couple of sets of these to a job site somewhere. But let's say you do have plenty of room and you just want to build a stack of regular Apple boxes. Those will be in the plans too. Plus, if you've got a CNC router or a laser cutter that can cut 1/2 inch plywood, I've also put together an easy snap together version. Here, yeah, okay. There, and so confusing. All right, okay. Yeah, there, and on, okay. I got to think where to put the glue every time. Here and here, okay. Oh! Oh! I made that the wrong length. Okay. I gotta trim this down fast. What? That's one for the scoreboard. Ah. Oh. 3. Earplugs. I hope I'm getting this right. Please fit, please fit, please fit. Oh, there we go. God, it's already at 0. I already have so many anxieties, and I just realized another one is glue. Oh, that was easier for some reason. Anyway, easy as that. This was out of focus the whole time, wasn't it? So I went ahead and clamped that together off screen. Didn't have to use any fasteners on it either, which was nice. And while I wait for that to dry, I just wanted to show you the advantage to having all these different sizes. You can actually stack these to whatever height you need, at least in increments of 1 inch. Of course, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stack these together to get 6, then 7. You can do that all the way up to 15, at least with one set. And then of course you've got, different orientations to get even more height out of it. By the way, there actually is terminology to communicate the different orientations. I learned this from Mark Adams, the photographer. Anybody who's been to Maker Camp knows Mark. This is referred to as LA. This is Chicago. And this is New York. Just a little something for you to wow people at parties. And you know what? I'll tell you something. I think these are actually probably the nicest boxes I've ever made. But you know what? I think this first set, I think I'm going to put it up on eBay. So I'd love to see somebody who would get some use out of this. Get a hold of these. I'll put a link to the auction down in the video description. But first, we got to put on some finishing touches. I know, adding a nice varnish to something like this seems like overkill, but the Halcyon from Total Boat, I mentioned it before, it's easy to apply anyway, and it's durable, which is why I use it on most of my shop projects. It just keeps stuff from getting really grungy looking, which I can't stand. And use the link in the description. You can always get a discount on all their products. Then it's just a quick rub down with some 320 grit. And that's it. I tell you, these, you're going to beat the hell out of these old things. And if you guys can come up with some more creative uses for these around the shop, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget about the auction. I went back and forth on whether or not I was going to let this set go, but I think I'm going to let some lucky maker have these. Me, I think I'm going to make a bunch more of these guys. I want to see you guys make some of your own too. So check out those project plans. Links to everything down in the video description, and I'll see you in the next one.